Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to round 3 of the third season of the BSKIT Formula One League in AMS2. We are here at the Red Bull Ring today, our fourth race in a row, and we have got a 49 lap race coming up in fair conditions for you all. Not expecting any adverse weather today. Sure, that'll be a relief for some. A disappointment for others, particularly those who actually go well in the wet. But that is the weather we've got. We're into the last 5 minutes or so of practice now, before we move on to qualifying, and then that 49 lap race mentioned earlier. So not expecting the need for any wets today. So just be dry tyres. Don't know what to expect in terms of tyre usage, tyre wear, and thanks to slight glitches in AMS, I won't really be able to see what tyres people are on, because that doesn't really update. But we'll do our best and see what we can come up with. So standings currently, if I just have a quick glance at the race results. Our current championship leader is Donut, who's not here today, unfortunately. Second is Triple L, again not here. So the first of our drivers here today is third place overall, Runelink. Now Runelink is 11 points behind the lead. By that I mean the lead of the championship. So if Runelink can finish in the top two, he'll get enough points to move ahead of Donut and take the lead of the championship for now. We don't know how long that'll last, of course, but the lead's the lead, right? So a healthy sized grid as well. We've got Ninhuis returning for this round after missing an event or two. Setting the time currently for practice, the provisional poll, but of course this session not actually counting for the starting grid. It's just bragging rights, but Ninhuis has those for now. Running third place in the championship, currently within a second of that provisional poll time. And Newt, a newcomer for this race in the series, holding on to third. So only a few more minutes, and we'll get this underway properly. I had intended to set a noise gate up for this stream, but unfortunately forgot, and now I don't have time to play around and actually try and get it right. So rather than getting it wrong, we'll just roll with it, and I'll try and use the inline mute on my microphone if and when I need to. But that's not really our problem now, is it? There we go, that's 101. Cool. So I've got a view of the Twitch chat if there is anyone sending messages. I will do my best to answer those when an opportunity arises. So we'll just let the last few minutes of the practice session come to an end soon, and then we'll make a start on qualifying. if you are watching this and have any predictions to make for today, absolutely put them in. I'd be curious to see who you predict for the win. This circuit a little bit different from the preceding few races. Obviously, we're at Canada, Watkins Glen, and Silverstone before this. And of those three, Silverstone's the one most like today's track, in the sense that it has a little bit more runoff, whereas Watkins Glen and Canada, you're very much up against the walls, so perhaps a little bit more forgiving than previous couple of tracks have been, as this car off in the gravel might demonstrate. Not sure who that is. I think we've had a disconnect there, unfortunately. See if I can figure out who it is. Marlow appears to be stuck. That looks like a disconnect to me. That is not behaving in a way that I would expect it to. So let's hope that can be resolved in time for him to hit part in qualifying. So I don't know where. I could have sworn we had 12 cars at one point. It's 11 now. Just trying to get to the bottom of that one for you. Let's see. Oh, good. It doesn't look like Louis Marlowe's car is stuck in the gravel trap anymore, so hopefully that was just a temporary glitch and that won't happen again. So F1 Simbins, the driver we've lost already. Trying to just establish why if possible, but right now not really sure why. That's a shame, that. Man, yeah, my screen is a bit of a mess right now as I'm trying to be able to see everything that's going on. So anyway, why don't I focus on the qualifying session? Nienhuis, the first one to start a proper flying lap. I'm not sure exactly how forgiving track limits are here. They ought to be fairly forgiving. Difficult corner here in what is actually turn 2, not the fake turn 2. Nienhuis hopefully going to be setting the benchmark time at first. If you remember, he was quick in the practice session. Hopefully he's able to replicate that in the qualifying today as well. Into the last corner now. Let's see what the provisional time is going to be, assuming he's kept it clean, of course. And he has a 102.4 and straight back to the pits, presumably for another set of tyres and another go. RuneLink pips him by 0.1 seconds, so a tenth, and again also goes back to the pits. See if we can figure out who is also on. Such a pain trying to figure out. It was Lou Marlowe who was next to across the line, and again, like everyone else, straight back to the pits. Slightly jarring if you just so happen to be watching them at the time. But Finn finishing his first flying lap and going straight onto another flyer, apparently. Almost 6/10 down, a little more than half a second down at the first split time. Not ideal, so perhaps a recharge lap, cool down lap, whatever you want to call it. But we've started strong with 5 drivers within a second of pole time, and some of those gaps closer than others. The gap between first and second, just a tenth of a second, and fourth and fifth very close as well. So still watching Finn as he drives into the pits. So we shall continue watching. Faffy out on a lap. Looks like it anyway. No, looks to be pushing. So this, I think, Faffy's flyer now, as that didn't appear to be an improvement. So I'm assuming this is his flyer now. Plunging down the hill, hard braking zone ahead. You can see a little bit of traffic. Hopefully not going to cause any problems across the DRS line. The AlphaTauri just figuring out which side to go to try and get out the way. Does so before the braking zone. Difficult braking zone this one. Faffy a little bit deep in there. A late apex. So late he'll get it next lap with any luck. Again, appears a little wide of the apex. Maybe hasn't got those fronts switched on the way he'd like to. On a handful of corners now, and we will see what this time is. It doesn't look like it should have been invalidated, so it might have been there. I suspect that was invalid. Nope, it was a second and a half improvement. How that was valid, I don't know, but it was. So the only Alfa Romeo that I believe we have on track today. Carlos Spicy Wiener. As apologies, I've noticed Nienhuis, while I wasn't looking, has improved their lap and moved the goalpost a little bit further forward. So RuneLink no longer within 1/10 of Nienhuis. He's 3.5 tenths behind now, and well, if he wasn't a push lap before, I don't think he is, and now we will see. Presumably setting himself up for one. So let's watch along as RuneLink goes on what I'm assuming is going to be a push lap now. That last one definitely wasn't. So hugging the inside there, trying to shorten the distance. Hard onto the brakes, coming towards the end of the first sector now. Braking that time would be any second, I think, unless there are only 2 sectors. I haven't quite figured out where the sector times are, or the sector marks, I should say. There's no visual indicator that I can see on the track, unless it's that slight break coming up. I think this must be the first sector line now. Still not seeing the split time, so possibly invalid or something not quite working as intended. But regardless, oh, I'm hoping that was still valid and not too distracted by that. Well, it is an improvement. Good. Would have been nice to know a little bit sooner than that, but alas, it's an improvement, but not an improvement enough to take pole from Nienhuis. Louis Marlowe looks to be out on a lap as well in this lovely semi-slick livery. Let me know what you think about this livery as well. It's gone off track. That's not ideal. It's an interesting livery. His teammate's got pink accents rather than the gold accents. Divisive is perhaps the right word to describe that livery. Finn out on track as well. Finn a little over 2.5 tenths behind the Alfa Romeo of Carlo Schweizerina, and about 2 tenths ahead of Diego Braga behind, so still a close qualifying. Probably not the ideal line there going across the gravel. Well, it looks like he's kept his foot in it. A little bit of a weave there, perhaps. Let's see, is it going to be an improvement? Nope. So this perhaps the push lap, and that was a setup lap. Apologies, I don't really get a whole lot of information. Nienhuis heading out on track. There's Runelink here on a warm-up lap. Apparently. So another starting another flying lap now. He's got a little over 2.5 tenths improvement needed if he does want to move ahead of Nienhuis. Nienhuis, I believe we're missing last round, possibly the one before as well. So a little bit of a points deficit there, but he has been quick. And yeah, Runelink the benchmark for a lot of these drivers here. So that's very impressive in Nienhuis to be able to get ahead of him. And I mean, you can. I'm aware Runelink's pushing here. I don't know if he's got much more. And yeah, if you didn't believe me that he was pushing, well, as your proof and experience and quick driver like Runelink, that's not just a daft mistake. That's he's pushing and the car's got away from him, but that's how you find the limit, by going over it. I've got a delta time there for Marlowe, up ever so slightly. I think about half a tenth. He's going to need more than that if he wants to move up from third to second. I think it'll be an improvement. It was not an improvement, unfortunately. Straight back to the garage. Presumably more tyres go again. So we're down to just 4 minutes of this qualifying session left. F1 Simvid's yet to set a time. Imagine that's possibly deliberate. Carlo puts it in the gravel. Not the fastest line. Finn looks to be starting another lap. So again, Finn's still ahead of Diego Braga, holding on to 5th. Nienhuis has set another fastest lap. This, I mean, this has got to be getting slightly demoralising for some of the drivers now, as Nienhuis just keeps on moving the goalpost further and further forwards. Runelink, as we saw, pushing, so this is a very good effort from Nienhuis. A little bit of traffic ahead of Finn here. Hopefully not going to provide any distraction. And yep, they've both gotten out of the way. Very smart from those two drivers. Finn using all the curb and a little bit extra there. Only a few more corners to go. Chucks it in. Lots of speed. You can see how much of the track they're allowed to get away with here. Is it going to be an improvement at all? It is an improvement, but it's not enough to move him up any positions. Let's give a little bit of screen time to some of the other drivers who are maybe a little bit further down the grid. Don't worry, that wasn't an engine giving up. That was, I think, wheel spin. Or I hope it was wheel spin. It's carried on moving, so I'm guessing the engine's okay. Tyres maybe not so much. So Michael MH7 here. Not quite a second off of Ultimate Cars ahead. But I'll be wanting to improve on this. So we've got just 2 minutes left now. So if anyone does want to have another go at a lap, they're going to need to be out on track fairly sharpish. It's around a 1 minute 3 lap. So I need to get their out laps done fairly quickly. Obviously, once that timer hits 0, you do not get to go again. Faffy looks like he's had a spin, so we'll go elsewhere. Apologies, Faffy. So, yes, for those who might not have been watching the or not don't have access to the AMS2 general chat room after last race, I was asked to stop cursing the drivers after a number of incidents involving drivers who I looked at and then promptly had a mishap. It appears that curse has not been lifted as I look at Faffy just as he has a lovely little spin. Hopefully Nuke not going to have any issues before he finishes this lap. So that, I'm guessing a out lap, 9 seconds down. So hopefully this is in fact a push lap now. It better be, because he's not going to get another out lap and push lap in, and he's slightly up as he comes to the end of the first sector. Lights up the rears, exiting turn 2, not the fake turn 2, the actual turn 2. And unfortunately sent it off the road into the gravel trap. So I think that's his run over. Ultimate Casa coming up to the end of the lap. Didn't see a delta time. And the timer's ran out, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Finn, I think, on a lap as well. Lindquist coming up towards the end of his lap. Can he improve any further? He can. Wow. Wow. Yep. Lindquist definitely pushing. Definitely quick. Runelink not out on track, so he's not going to improve. Unless Finn can somehow find 1.2 seconds. I think this is Paul for Lindquist. As he comes across the line, it's an improvement. He moves up position, up, and Faffy last one across the line. Don't think that was an improvement for him either, unfortunately. So the qualifying session, just having a little bit of a think. That's all of our time done, and we will move forward to the 49 lap race any second now. So cars on the grid. We will see what we can get at the start. Ninhuis, I believe, was on pole at Watkins Glen, but unfortunately fell victim to a technical error before the race. So that didn't last very long. Hopefully better luck this time, and good luck to all of our drivers. So, starting order, Ninhuis from Runelink, from Louis Marlow and Findict. Spicy Weeder, Ultimate Casa on row 3. Fourth row is Diego Braga, Newt, Carlos and Fafi on row 5. and Michael MH7 and F1 Sinvids on row 6. F1 Sinvids having some thermal issues prior to this race starting, so we will see if he completes this race, and hopefully we have a decent showing today. So just waiting for the race session to sort of well, begin. I guess they're on the grid. They've got a chance to fiddle with the setups and make sure they've got the fuel they need. But shortly we'll be starting for good. Seem to be waiting a long time today. Oh, there you go. So, here we go. Any second now we'll be underway for 49 laps. It looks like a better start from Findick than by Nienhuis, and we're 3 and 4 wide, a little bit further back. Round the first corner cleanly. Don't see anyone off. Oh, no, there's 2 cars that have gone round, and advertising banner being sent to space. I think that's Faffy having an issue, and Michael MH7 F1 Sinvids as well having issues, but don't have time to worry about them right now. Nienhuis making a run for it right off the bat. Louis Marlowe moved himself up into second ahead of Runelink. Finn tumbling down the order just a little bit after a good start. He has been jumped and shuffled down a bit now as we're single file. Now drivers kind of not 2 by 2 anymore. And Louis Marlowe looking very strong. Moved up from second row into second place. Bit wide there. Tyres perhaps not quite up to temperature just yet. But as we all come streaming across the start-finish line for the first time, I don't see anyone diving for the pit lane. So that is very good. Findict on the back of Ultimate Caster here, hoping to benefit from the tow possibly and making a move down into turn 2. But not close enough, doesn't have the speed. Has to hang in just a little bit longer. A little bit further back. Carlos, not far behind Newt, not far ahead of Spicy Wiener either. But Marlowe is just applying all sorts of pressure to Nienhuis here. Within a second, that's definitely close enough to benefit from slipstream. But it's also close enough to get affected by dirty air, so we will have to see what Louis Marlowe can make of this in that really quite pretty livery, I would say, of the semi-slick racing team. But full slicks on for now. No need to worry about any condensation. The early mist starting to clear. Perhaps not a very good final few corners as Nienhuis has just pushed out of that DRS range. A little further back. Ultimate Cass is teammate to Louis Marlowe with Carlos Vaisguina right behind, and Carlos just ahead. A little bit of a trend developing here as well. You can see we've got Newt in 6th, 7th, 8th, and Carlo having a little bit of a slide there. Looks like he caught it, and Casa perhaps having a bit of a moment as well. The gap between Louis Marlowe and Nienhuis has practically doubled here, and the gap between Louis Marlowe and Runelink has shrunk big time. So a lap ago, Louis Marlowe was looking like he might be in a position to attack Nienhuis, and now it's the hunter has become the hunted as Runelink looking to reclaim his position. And further back, Carlos all over the back of Newt. Good opportunity here into the first corner. Looking up the inside from Carlos, decides against it. And I see Michael MH7 and Faffy having a tussle into turn 1. Faffy getting a better run. Now got the inside line for turn 2 and he's clear before we even get there. Good move from Faffy. Runelink now applying pressure to Louis Marlowe, who after a strong start's fallen away from Nienhuis. Long way to go still, 45 laps. So, doesn't want to be too aggressive at the start, but he is free to fight it, of course. So an exciting few laps here. The dynamic between the slipstream and the dirty air giving us some really interesting battles. As unfortunately, Lou Marlowe not had a good exit there, and Runelink has moved ahead. Further back, Carlos having a little spin, and Carlos gets past, as does Finn. Benefit from that as well. Unfortunate for Carlos. Carlos now, after a little spin, probably some hot tyres on the back of Ultimate Caster. Hoping to make something of a move, and he's ahead before the turn. Good stuff. So the driver's starting to spread out a little bit now. Liam Marlowe with that mistake, having let Runelink through. Runelink retaking second position. Nienhuis scampering on up the road, 4 and a bit seconds clear. Runelink improving on his best. So we will see how that gap develops. We've got Findict here with a lovely view of Carlos just ahead as he comes into turn 1 uphill, so he can brake pretty late into there. Across the curbs, doesn't look like a good turn, bad exit, and that gap is going out rather than shrinking. Ultimate Caster as well. Still hanging with Carlos Spicy. We know he's not letting him get away too much. That's the lighten of the rear tyres. Eagerness to get away from the corner, overwhelming the ability of the rear tyres to actually transmit that power into forward motion. Wow, that sounded boring. I do apologise. So, lovely little bit of on-track battling as we're into this middle sector here. And, oh, Ultimate Caster sending it perhaps a little bit too hard across the gravel and giving up some of that time that he had worked so hard to gain. Carlos, P6, pushing on to try and make a move on Newt. An improvement from Carlos that lap, a second up on his previous best. And just turning our eyes to the previous lap times, Peter Nienhuis doing a 1:04.9 or a 1:05 if you're going to be a little bit pedantic. Then Runelink not able to live with that. 1:05.4. We've got F1 Simvids in the pits, possibly related to his thermal issues. So a nice little train here. Carlos here in the middle of it. And yep, we have lost F1 Simvids from the race, retired. So that's our first driver out, unfortunately. But yeah, as I was saying, a nice little train here consisting of Diego Braga in fourth. Starting to build a bit of a gap now to Newt in 5th, Carlos 6th. Findit bringing up the rear of this little group in 7th place. So if you like chasing a carrot, well, there is one. Go get him. Nienhuis not doing such a good lap that time around, and Runelink clawing back a couple of tenths. Should be an interesting race. I think Runelink's not really been pushed this hard in previous events, so perhaps a little bit of something different for him. Newt and Findix dealt there very close together. I believe they've swapped around. Has Newt made a mistake there and allowed Finn through? I think he might have done. It looks like it. Lost 2.5 seconds on his delta. So that, to me, would suggest a mistake on Newt's part, letting Findict through. Findict running away. Very grateful for that free position, hey? If that was what it was. I didn't actually see the move. So, Leo Marlowe finding his groove again. And last lap, 3 thousandths faster than Neatfeast in the lead. He's going to need to close that gap a little bit quicker than 3 thousandths a lap if he is hoping to put up a challenge for the win. But podium is a strong result, and it was almost a second quicker than Diego Braga behind. So that little train of 3 that we had going earlier, breaking up a little bit now. Finley trying to bridge the gap to Carlos ahead. Extending that gap to Newt behind, now over a second and a half, so that's Newt out of the benefit of the slipstream. Finley's going quicker than Carlos there on the previous lap, as Newt and Carlos Spice Arena having a lovely little battle here. Carlos ahead before the turn, nice and clean. Newt not able to get a cut back. Lighting those rears up again. Those rears are going to be suffering before the end of the race. But of course there is a pit stop. So we've got Ultimate Casa in the pits as well. Looks like he's getting a tyre change. Convenient, let's lead us through. So Neatwees putting Ultimate Casa a lap down, but not having to pass him on track. Findict as well now diving into the pits. Possibly the tyres not living in the way they really wanted them to. I'm not sure what the degradation is like on this track, but it's quite a lot of people pitting already, and I don't think it's all going to be damage. So Needfreeze in the lead, a little over 5 seconds. Pretty comfortable position to be in. Further down we've got Carlos Spicerina attempted to pass Carlos, and we've got a lapped car ahead, hopefully not going to cause them any problems. Looks to be the semi-slick racing car of Ultimate Casa. Is on an outlap. Carlo here within the tow of Ant Carlos ahead. Try saying that 5 times when I've had a little bit of drink. Not a brilliant exit from Carlo, but that gap coming down. If you can get a good exit out of this corner coming up, there's a position here potentially for the taking. And he is closing that gap, but perhaps not fast enough. It does look up the inside though. And he's ahead of Carlos. Carlos looking for the cutback though. Getting good traction. And he's got that position back before the braking zone. Cuts across Carlo. But locks up a little bit into the next corner. Carlo still right with him. Oh, unfortunately, Carlo that a little bit too hot. Spinning the rear. Not going to help his attempts to overtake there. Shame. Nice battle while it lasted. Driver error, I think, there. Putting an end to that one. Findict appears to have moved ahead of Carlo, who's going on a gravel adventure, it seems. So Finn, having pitted, back on track in 8th position. And the battle for the lead. Not really changing a whole lot. 10th here, a 10th there. As Carlo into the pits, probably ruined his tyres, possibly a little bit of damage as well. Or is he? Nope, apparently he's not in the pits. I could have sworn it told me he was. The game has lied to me. Newt and Findict. Closest battle on track right now, possibly. Only a couple of seconds between them. Not a great lap for Newt. Might have been a mistake or a pit stop. 9 seconds down. I'm thinking possibly a pit stop. I can see Ryan saying that Runelink is washed in the Twitch chat, which is an interesting comment for someone not taking part in the race. Arguably, Ryan more washed than Runelink. Yeah, deal with that, atheists. So this gap between Newt and Findict expanding rather than contracting as Louis Marlowe into the pits now. Presumably come for a change of tyres. He's going to lose a position to Diego Braga and a position to Carlos before he's back out. That was a very quick stop. And the racing on pit exit. Momentum in the favour of Carlos here. Just about ahead, but it's going to be cold tyres and a hard braking for Louis Marlowe. Holds on to 4th for now, but Carlos getting a much better exit out of that corner and clear before the next braking zone. Comes across onto the racing line and receives a little bit of a tap there, I think, unfortunately. Louis Marlowe and Carlos both off the track in the gravel. Diego Braga benefiting from that. Fafi benefiting. And Findict benefiting as well. Bit of a disaster there. Louis Marlowe maybe misjudging a little bit on cold tyres of a different compound. But very sportingly has waited for Ant Carlos to dust himself off and carry on before rejoining himself. And good to see both of our drivers rejoining safely, not on the path of anyone else. So the gap between Runelink and Nienhuis fluctuating a little bit here and there, as one has a good lap, the other one has a slightly less good lap. I was going to say a bad lap, but I'm not sure that's really fair to call it that. Finn spinning the tyres up there a little bit. Fairly fresh tyres, I think, so kind of want to look after them. Possibly a 2-stop race coming up, maybe even 3 if they've already stopped this early on. You can see in that leftmost column as well, the Nienhuis setting a 106.17 and Runelink doing a 106.256. So very, very similar times. This might be more down to strategy and consistency than perhaps finishing in an on-track battle, which I'm sure we'd all love to see. Spicy Wiener and Newt having a little bit of a tussle as well. Carlo having a bit of a spin or something. I'm not sure if there was contact there. Didn't look like it. Carlo rejoining the track safely though. Newt off as well. And facing the wrong way. So perhaps not waiting intentionally, but waiting nonetheless. As I think this is Ninfuis. No, it's Diego Braga there, putting a lap on Ultimate Caster. Findict and Faffy getting a little bit closer together as well. 1.3 seconds the gap. Spicy Winner and Newt back at it again. Less than a second between them. And perhaps a little bit of a misunderstanding there. I think Newt was trying to let Carlo through, and it's not quite gone right. But Diego Braga catching the pair of them. I'll be hoping there's no shenanigans taking place in front of him. Newt getting off the track. Diego getting through nice and cleanly. This gap between Finn and Faffy. Still around 1 and a bit seconds. Very similar pace, it would appear. Within a tenth of each other's lap times just there as Louis Marlowe back into the pits. That seems like an early stop again. It was only a handful of laps ago he first stopped. Hopefully not an issue for him. Finn not really able to make much of a dent on the gap between himself and Faffy just yet. I can't remember which one of them pitted first, or if Faffy's even pitted at all yet. It's oh, been having a little bit of a snap there, keeping it pointing more or less the right direction now. So time lost, but hopefully no damage done, apart from possibly the tyres. So we've got Carlos Spicy in here with Diego Braga in the background. I think that was coming to put a lap. I apologise, that is Ultimate Caster with that Newt. What have we got ahead? Yeah, that is Diego Braga. I was like the first time confused myself somehow. Not that it takes much. Neatwees making his first stop. Moonlink taking the lead. Diego Braga probably not going to be able to take advantage of Neatwees stopping, as he's on the move already. A couple of corners still left to go for Diego Braga. And Neatwees out of the pits, so no, Diego Braga not close enough to move ahead on track position. So that moves Moonlink up into the lead now. Carlos attempting to chase down Findict ahead. Findict with the Williams of Newt. Neatly dispatched. Perhaps a little bit of an off track there for Finn as well. And Runelink now into the pits 1 lap later. 1 lap later than Neatwees, I should say. So Neatwees already passed. Runelink just crossing the pit exit line now. So Diego Braga coming in as well. Faffy not feeling like coming into the pit lane. And neither does Findict. So Peter Increase resumes the lead of the race. Link, perhaps a bit of a slower stop. Gap was around 5 seconds. Now a little bit less. Sorry, I've just realised as well, I think. There we go. Apologies if there were no engine noises. I have realised and I fixed it. Slightly awkward. Professional streaming. So, what's happening now then? Coming towards halfway distance in this race done. Carlos Serena into the pit lane. Newt presumably using this opportunity to make a move, turn a position off Carlo. As Carlo gets back underway. So the closest gap I think on track. Right now, possibly between Carlos and Benedict, around 3.5 seconds. So you tend to find these, this will be slightly longer races, certainly where there's an element of strategy, as there is variation, and yeah, the variation perhaps seeing the middle of the race a little bit quieter than the start and the end. But we will wait to see. If we do indeed get some closer fights towards the end, Nilquist might have had a bad lap last time around. And as such, Link has closed up by about 9/10. We've got Michael MH7 with about a 9-second gap to Lou Marlowe ahead, and Ultimate Cass around 22 seconds behind. But you can just see Peter Nilquist there in the background, coming up to put a lap on Michael. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Nilquist is going very quickly indeed. Michael MH7 there doing a 1:09.1. As Nilquist does a 1:05.7, so slight difference in pace there. But, that's why Nilquist is in the lead. Michael doing a very good job there to move off the racing line, just lift a little bit and let Nilquist through, no problem. Lighten up the tyres a little as well on exit. So what else have we got? We're in this just over halfway now. Middle phase of the race where perhaps not that much on-track action happening, as Michael MH7 letting another car through. I believe that was... not sure who that was actually. That could have been Diego in the background, someone having an off. Yes, I think it was Diego Barrera. Fortunately, it's all gone a bit wrong for Diego. So, nice size gaps on either side. Diego Braga, very slow lap. 1:21 the lap before as well, so something going wrong for Diego Braga here. I believe that's Benedict into the pits. Carlos benefit from that, going up into 4th. Ultimate Casa, 6 seconds behind Diego Braga. Close that gap where I can, and Green Link is to be closing the gap to Neatfreeze up as well. Has been hovering around the 5-second mark, but it's down now to a little under 4 seconds. Again, advantage Runelink on that last lap, only by a couple of tenths. But it does look like perhaps tyres or setup or driver concentration possibly starting to favour Runelink over Neatfreeze. So he's within sight. You can see from the T-cam or roof cam shot. He is able to see Neatfreeze. Carlos here, holding on to 4th position currently, with about a 10-second gap to Fluffy ahead. And 16 seconds to Finn behind. We've got Newt in the pits. Looks like fresh tyres and away we go. Just leaving the pit lane now. Runelink again, a little bit quicker on that last lap. Gaps under 3 seconds. So slowly but surely closing in. Possibly a different strategy now as Faffy heads into the pit lane. Followed also by Ultimate Casa. So Carlos from 5th up to 3rd within a couple of laps there as people cycle into the pits. That lap going Neatfreeze's favour rather than Runelink's, but still not a lot of time lost one way or the other. Michael MH7 heading for the pit lane. Faffy 2 seconds behind Findit. Both of them fairly fresh out of the pits, so I think Finn's tyres are a lap older than Faffy's. Newt back into the pits, possibly the wrong tyre put on his car. Not happy with them. Going back in for a fresh set. Carlos heads into the pits. So anticipating Finn and Faffy jumping back ahead of Carlos. Yep, leapfrogged just like that. So it wasn't quite a true 3rd position, it was a 3rd position on the road because of strategy, but hey, he was in 3rd position at one point. Newt there exiting the pit lane. He's got Neatfreeze passing Ultimate Casa. Just putting another lap on Ultimate Casa. Nice and clean. So Faffy starting to look like he might be heading towards being the filling of the sandwich here. He's got Louis Marlowe less than 2 seconds behind. Findit slowly pulling away though. So Faffy perhaps going to be focusing attention more rearwards than forwards. What else have we got going on? The gap between Runelink and Neatfreeze still around the 3 second mark. Neatfreeze doing a 1:05.5 and doing a 1:05.4. So still not a lot of gap. Findit and Faffy as well. About 3/10 quicker for Findit compared to Faffy. Got a potential battle brewing here as well between Michael MH7, who also had a bit of a stall lap last time out. Carlo doing a fairly respectable 106.5. Not sure if it was an outlap for Michael. But, Carlo catching. And Carlo not catching a slide. Unfortunately, that could be an early retirement for Carlo as a mistake cost him his rear wing there. He's gonna need that. And he's got third place, Fendit catching. Finn will be probably a little bit uneasy at the prospect of a rear wingless Alfa Romeo ahead. But he's passed cleanly. So now that's Fafi's problem. Much to Fafi's delight, I'm sure. So, Carlos Messerina in the wall again, putting Fafi off and off track, and that looked like Williams of Newt not far behind. But Alfa Romeo of Carlo perhaps being a bit of a hazard on track right now. Doing his best to get out of the way, but without rear wing, that car is proving difficult to drive. So we're over the halfway mark, comfortably. And Fendit almost a minute behind Rudnick here. So these two out front are flying. Rudnick again closing that lap to Nienhuis down. It's under 2 seconds now. So these two, the only two drivers still on the lead lap, I believe. So, either 1:05, 1:06 lap currently. Fendit in third place. That is all the way here. So I've been briefly going to be on the same lap, but closer to being that than fighting for the position, unfortunately. So Carlos Alpha come to grief again on the infield as Newt makes his way around turn 1. The ultimate Casa here. Alfa Romeo I want to say Carlos. Putting another lap on him. No fuss. Straight through, nice and clean. Stricken Alfa Romeo there of Carlo. Perhaps a little bit beach in the gravel trap. Looks like he is attempting to retrieve it. I'm surprised because it looks like he's not been into the pit lane, which I would have expected. So possibly a mistake from Nienhuis as that gap now a lot closer than it was earlier on in this race, or the lap, the relative between the cars, perhaps just having a little bit of a panic. Advantage running from that last lap, barely. Michael M.H. 7 a little further down the order, within 3.5 seconds of Diego Barraga ahead. Diego Barraga, of course, in the sister-teamed Red Bull. Continuing to close that gap down a little bit. Just edging closer and closer to Nienhuis. Nienhuis has a back mark to navigate. Sorry, it's a bit rude. Not quite a back mark, but a lap car to navigate in the form of Louis Marlowe. Brundlink doing the same now. So status quo between these two. Traffic catching just slightly on Benedict as well. As that is that? What is that? Carlos stuck, sorry. I thought I'd seen a slow Red Bull, but I can't figure out who that might have been now. Perhaps my eyes were deceiving me. So the increase just in line to end lap 36. Where are they? 105. 3. A little bit quicker than Brundlink. It's good. Battle developing as well. Buffy and Finn here. There's Carlos in his best closest 3.5 second gap to Leonardo ahead. Down. Last lap from Carlos, sorry. About 2 seconds quicker than Leonardo. Perhaps a mistake there from David. Ultimate cast catching my climate 7 ahead. That the Alpha of Carlos ahead, so not for position despite their proximity. And it seems to me that the tyre advantage, if there was one, may have swung back towards Needfeast, so Needfeast perhaps on a slightly harder compound tyre than Brundlink was. That gap back up to around 2 seconds when it was down to around 1.5. Carlos now attempting to close down Alvaro. Between him and Limara is a back marker. Sorry, a lapped car, I believe, with Michael MH7. Maybe also S9 lifts. That's Carlos through. Nice and clean, no fuss. That's what I like to see. Not so much the whole being on the grass, but yeah, you can't win them all. Carlos now got the car ahead of him. Lumala within his sight. Might appear on it like a little bit of a dot, but he is there. And it is a target for him to chase if he so wishes. So the drivers are looking after the tyres a little bit better this time around, not quite as much spinning them up in clouds of smoke, which, well, aesthetically it looks quite cool. Not good for the tyres or the lap time. So this kind of, I wouldn't call it a stagnant, but a bit of a lull in the action in this middle part, but we've got 10 laps to go now, nevertheless, and I expect it to pick up again before we get to the end. That gap between Brundlink and Ingris still hovering around the 1.5 seconds. Just there, but I'm flowing ever so slightly. looks ahead, so I can see the car he's going to catch. But being able to see it and being able to do anything about it are two different things. He's coming with a lapped car again. Looks to be a Aston Martin Faffy, so that's P4. About to be lapped again. Or about to be lapped. The leader of the rest. I think he's catching Faffy there at a bit of a bad time. Faffy's car doing all sorts of weird laggy things there. Possibly contact there between himself and the rear link. Car looking a little unsettled now. Not quite sure what's going on, but none of the cars look quite right. Been in the pits, appear to be crabbing slightly. So Faffy going to move ahead of Finn as he performs a stop. Apologies for the cars not seeming to behave quite right. I don't know what's going on there. So Finn making a stop not far before the end of the race. Possibly tyres a little bit dead. So the roles have been reversed and he's now got to chase down Faffy. Running perhaps a little bit thrown out of the zone there with his running with Faffy on a few laps ago. Lost about a second to an increase. We've only got 7, 8 laps left. So the battles towards the end of the lap, or the end of the race, sorry, that I'd anticipated. Perhaps starting to come to fruition as doing well here. About a second and a half, 2 seconds to Anticarlos behind and about 2 seconds to Findix ahead. So perhaps looking closer to the true finishing position for our drivers now. Diego Braga, fairly large gap side by side. Again, just trying to do his best to catch up with Newfies, but I'm suspecting there might possibly be a little bit of damage at that last lap. There's around 8 tenths slower than Newfies. Tyres might be gone. Focus possibly starting to wane a little. Mala here doing his best to try and catch Findix and Faffy ahead. So our leader on lap 44 now. Not long left in this race. I wouldn't have thought many drivers would plan on pitting so close to the end now. Which is slightly confused why Finn did, but he's now within a second of Faffy. It might have been tyre differences, and Finn now definitely on fresher tyres than Faffy. A little bit of a lock-up's not going to help them. It's a very, very small gap now. I've seen drivers struggling in the dirty air around this sector. Yeah, not appearing to have such issues for any other track. Best opportunity is going to be getting through turn 1, hoping for a good run down that long back straight or side straight or not quite straight. Close it up in the braking zone, hopefully get a good exit. Well in the slipstream now. Gap shrinking. Faffy feeling the need to defend, but he's not defended well enough. Finn up the inside, deep. Faffy getting the cutback. Status quo for now. Good opportunity, but Finn perhaps not anticipating the toe quite rightly there, and it's closer this lap through the middle sector than it was previous. Finn after the left out the throttle there was Faffy out of him, has a bit of a moment. Some momentum lost. And this is all playing with the hands of Louis Marlowe. He's only 2 seconds behind now. Faffy getting a bad exit off of that corner, and Finn alongside, inside into this braking zone and ahead, nice and clean. Not too deep, he's kept it on track. That is cleanly through. Louis Marlowe, big off there. That's and Carlos through and a spin as he tries to come back onto the track, which he's timed. Unfortunately, Ultimate Cost having a spin at the very same spot. Very unfortunate. So Finn ahead of Faffy, but not in the clear. Faffy fighting back. Doing his best to. Faffy, of course, on all the tyres. So it's going to be a difficult battle to try and get back ahead of Findict. Carlos can see Faffy. Finn just ahead, just getting glimpses of them as we come through some of these corners. He does not have a lot of time left to close that gap down and put up a fight, but he is going quicker. Really, unfortunately, not going much quicker than Peter Nienvries in the lead. Lights the tyres up a little bit on corner exit. There's a few battles going on here for me to try and keep an eye on, but I'm doing the best I can. Faffy, I think. Oh, interesting. Runelink has gone into the pits. Presumably taking new tyres and going to go for fastest lap with 2 laps to go. I think admitting defeat there against Nienvries. I think he's not going to get that position, so perhaps instead going for the fastest lap, which I believe is worth a single point. So yeah, there's good reason to do that if it takes a point away from Nienvries, especially so. And really not very much to be worried about from Runelink behind. Finn around a minute behind Runelink, so plenty of time for Runelink to get that pit stop done. So Carlos now. 2.5 behind Faffy. Couldn't tell you the tyre condition these cars are relative to each other, but they are both on fairly worn tyres now. Carlos a lot quicker on that last lap than Faffy there. 105 to a 106.8. That's a 1.8 second gap. Closed gap of 1.8 seconds, I should say, sorry. He's around a second behind now. So if he can get a good exit, he might be able to work his way into slipstream range. You can see the car is trying to catch ahead of him. But I believe the leader now on the final lap. I'm not sure where the leader is relative to them. This could be the final lap for... Yep, this should be the final lap for everyone now. So Peter Nienvries coming across the line. A fairly comfortable win for Peter Nienvries. Looks like Findict lap behind, coming across as well. Greenlink coming across. Slightly lost track of who has and hasn't finished now. Yeah, that's most people done now, I think. MH7, Michael MH7 still got a lap to finish. And that is us done, more or less, I think. Yep, so chance to do one lap. And we'll see if we can perhaps get some drivers into interview here. So, there's the results. Peter Nienvries finishing that race in 54 minutes with a best lap of 104.9. So it looks like Runelink did go for the softest tyres he could and has got that fastest lap point. So, waiting to see if I can get our race winner in for an interview there. I can get second and third, so let's give. Let's just see. Stand by. I am waiting to see if I can get an interview with the race winner there. Tell you what, while we wait, why don't we? Oh, he's typing. Okay. Right, just waiting to see our race winner in a room that I can drag him in for an interview with. So. Stand by, just trying to organise getting an interview with Nienvries. So I'll wait for that. Why don't we see if we can speak to third place first, since I know he's available now. And that, of course, would be Findict, who finished third. Congratulations, Finn.
Hello. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Good. I thought you might be that the first driver not to finish on the lead lap, so the pace of the top two there just too much to live with.
Yeah, they were extremely quick, so just not any competing with them, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
I had a lot of fun. I think a lot of people did. It was good racing. I had a couple of drive-throughs because track limits, because they are extremely brutal on this track. Just going off most of the time, you get a drive like a warning anyway, even if you slow down a lot. So I got caught out by that quite a lot. There are some heavy braking zones, and this car is quite difficult on the braking, so there's just a lot of ways to make mistakes there, and a lot of people did. So 2 drive-throughs, but still, I had really good pace, so P3.
I am realising now that some of what I thought were very quick pit stops were in fact drive-throughs.
Yes, correct.
Not entirely clear on stream, I'll say that much. But
regardless, yeah, the game doesn't communicate it very well.
It does not, but you had a lovely little battle on and off track with Faffy, sometimes leapfrogging each other as you went through the pits, either intentionally for a stop or to serve a penalty, and you've come out on top there. Was that due to a strategic element there?
Well, I absolutely nailed the undercut. I'll say that much. That went extremely well. And for the rest of it, well, drive-throughs, like I think twice I dropped back behind Fafi and had to re-overtake him on track. Maintained about a 5 second gap. He closed it to 3, so I had to increase pace. And because of that, I made a mistake. And that made me in a drive-through and losing the position again, having to regain it. Rinse, repeat. That was the race.
Yeah, it looked like a good bit of back and forth. Um, so that's a strong finishing result for you, and how does that benefit your championship battles? Uh, is that a good points haul to put you clear of rivals?
Um, yeah, of course, my main competitor is Fafi, so finishing ahead of him is always brilliant, and especially with such a close fight on track, I was really happy with that. I'm trying to make the results shown in a moment, and I think I am ready to do that right now, actually, because I was typing as I was speaking. I think the website should update very soon, so I'll know then where I am in the
Okay.
championship. Um, yeah, overall, I think it does put me in a good position for the rest of it. Not necessarily to win it. There are some people that have extremely good pace. Runelink, Peter, Donut wasn't here, and Ryan wasn't here, but they two, both of them, have extremely good pace as well. So I think I'll be behind those, but even like P5 or better in the championship for me would be brilliant. And I think I've not secured that, but right now I have a pretty decent hold on that, I think.
Brilliant. All right. Well, congratulations, and we will try and speak to RuneLink next. So once more, well done, and we'll see you. I think what 2 weeks time now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now,
So
and that will be the German Grand Prix held around the Hockenheim circuit.
excellent. So congratulations, and we'll see you again soon. I will try and speak to RuneLink now.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was Findict, your P3 finisher. We're just going to try and get Fafi in now. And here we have Fafi finishing P2. Congratulations. A strong. Sorry, I've pulled in Fafi rather than the Runic. I do apologise, but while you're here, Fafi, it looked like a very good battle between yourself and Finn there on track. How was that for you?
Was kind of fun. I mean, all in all, he was the quicker one today, so the battle was more between him getting track limits and drive-throughs and between me keeping it clean. But
Yeah, so Finn was just explaining to me that he had a couple of drive-throughs and I'd misunderstood that. It wasn't very clear from the UI, so I thought the pair of you were just taking very quick pit stops at times there. Um, but an
uh,
interesting fight nonetheless.
yeah, no, track limits were definitely a thing today. So, but yeah, I didn't have the pace today, so instead of just trying to push, I just try to keep it clean and not get a drive-through, which in the end worked out. Glad the race didn't last any longer because
Yeah.
Carlos was definitely catching up.
So was that race more damage limitation for you than perhaps going for a
De-
strong result?
Definitely.
Excellent.
So
Well,
so P4 is definitely a win for me.
I would say that yeah, if you're considering Finn as your title rival, that was about the best damage limitation you could do. Right, so the next race is going to be in Germany in 2 weeks' time. Do you think you can get the better of Finn there?
I'll try. Let's see if I can put in some practice laps and see if I can actually have some pace on that track. But
Excellent. Well, good luck for that, and congratulations on a successful damage limitation mission.
thank you.
All right, thank you, Fafi. And not seeing our winner in any of the chats to interview, so we will instead speak to Runic. So I've got RuneLink here now, who had a very good fight and finished second in the end. Didn't quite have the legs on Peter Neenfreeze today. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was fun. he was very quick today, and I couldn't keep up through the first stint, so that's why I was struggling a lot.
It
But
looked like
yeah, still a good race, I think.
it did look like a good back and forth between the pair of you. And was it a fastest lap attempt that you pitted for just with a couple of laps to go?
Yeah, did you hear what happened to his fuel?
I did not know.
So he almost ran out of fuel, so if I didn't pit, I would have won.
Oh no. Well, you went to know
But
that
he
way.
deserved it, so.
It was a very good fight between the pair of you. They literally a few tenths either way from one lap to the next. So yeah, very strong result. And did you expect better, or did you think there was anything more you could have got out of the car, or was that about as good as you could have done today?
I was mainly glad to not get a drive-through and to keep the car in one piece. This track is not an easy thing to drive in these cars, and I also had 25 suspension damage from driving over the curbs,
Ouch.
which I'm not sure. I think it just happens sometimes. So my steering was crooked for most of the race, which wasn't
Oh dear.
the most fun.
That must have been difficult. And I take it you managed to avoid getting a drive-through for track limits, did you?
Yep, I had all warnings.
Excellent. So Finn and Faffy behind you, not quite so lucky
Nope.
necessarily. But yeah, you've managed to be the only other driver besides the winner to actually finish on the lead lap there, and fastest lap points secured as well. So that's I believe 13 points for yourself.
Yeah, sounds right.
So I was looking before the race, and the current leader's Donut, who wasn't here, and I think you needed 10 points, 11 points to jump ahead of him. So if you've finished second and got fastest lap point as well, yeah, that'll be 13 points your way. Sorry, so 12 for second position, and 1 point for fastest lap. So that I think should make you the championship leader by 2 points.
Nice. Pretty
Brilliant.
close one this time, so I feel like anything can happen.
Definitely, and it looks like you've got some competition in the form of Peter Nienhuis for this series as well.
Yeah, definitely. Good to have some competition.
Excellent. Well, a strong result, very well driven, and congratulations on taking over the lead of the Drivers' Championship.
Thank you very much.
All right, we will see you hopefully in 2 weeks for the German event.
That's the 28th, so I won't be there, unfortunately.
Oh, unfortunate. No. Oh, very unfortunate. So,
Unless
technically,
there's another heat wave and we can delay it.
well, let's see what comes of that, eh? Well, enjoy leading the championship for 2 weeks, and hopefully you can hold on to it for the race you miss anyway.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, that was RuneLink, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do an interview with Peter Nienhuis, our event winner there. So that's another race done, and as I've mentioned already, the next round in 2 weeks' time on the 28th for the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. Thank you very much for watching. Follow us if you enjoy what you've seen and would like to see more. And goodbye for now.